My entire personality is a trauma response.
Classes on how to make phone calls.
Letting us express ourselves.
I'm not meant to work. I just hate working. I don't dream of labor.
Soft life and stay-at-home girlfriends do not live the lives that they are selling to you.
Hey guys, welcome back. Today we're going to be talking about the Gen Z soft life fantasy, the era of softness, right? A lot of this makes sense because some women, for example, are trying to escape hustle culture. They don't want to climb the corporate ladder, right? They want to stay at home. They want to bake. For some women, that's their dream and that's great. Some people are just rebranding procrastination and laziness as this soft life thing when in reality, you just don't want to work at all, or you expect this fancy lifestyle, but you're not doing anything. So we're also going to be talking about the I don't dream of labor trend. But before we start, make sure you are subscribed, hit the notification bell before I get mad. Let's start. So first we're going to look at the Starbucks meltdown. They recently updated their dress code and this is the response.
Something that Starbucks loves to do is allow partners to be themselves.
Does this person have an ice cream cone on their head? It's like a party hat, okay.
Or whatever that PR that they want to push. I don't understand how that's in good faith of letting us express ourselves. I don't understand how that's supposed to embody craft and culture.
So yeah, there's a time and place to express yourself. When you're making lattes, that's not the time nor the place. Just make the latte.
This is not a legal action that Starbucks is taking by unilaterally deciding what the dress code is going to be.
What?
And then creating this so-called feedback session where the dress code's already created and we're just expected to let off some steam and still accept it. Lying down.
When I get my pinkity drinkity at Starbucks, which I love by the way, and I am grateful for those who have the talent to make an incredible latte. But you guys at Starbucks, you already have the rainbow flags, you have the little pins all around. Do you also have to dress up as a rainbow? I think there should be a uniform. I don't think that's the end of the world. Sometimes I just can't with Gen Z anymore. Y'all are so obsessed with being so morally right and ethical that you guys become overly sensitive about it. Like you guys create issues where there are none. It just becomes so annoying. We don't need your performative activism and your white savior complex. Like, please, it's not that deep. Shut the F up and move on. I agree. But it's also like this selective sensitivity. Some things are totally fine. If it's someone that you disagree with politically, for example, you can say whatever you want and then no one's sensitive. But when it hurts their feelings, then it's, oh, you can't say that. That's really mean. That's really mean and I'm offended. There's no consistency.
Gen Zs are now taking classes on how to make phone calls. So it's called telephobia, and it's a fear or anxiety around making and receiving telephone calls. 75% of them say they never answer a phone call. But this is causing problems for when employers reach out for interviews or Gen Zs have to make a phone call to make a dentist appointment or something. One career advisor is suggesting people practice with like a note card with like cheat notes, choosing a quiet space, and using breathing exercises to calm the nerves, reminding students that they are in charge of the phone call, and telling students, quote, if this telephone call is something that I do not want, I have the choice to end the phone call, and that gives me power.
I do think that COVID made this 100 times worse, right? With Zoom, not really properly interacting with people around you. So many people got used to just seeing like a profile photo, not even having to turn your camera on. Unfortunately, that made things a lot worse. A lot of people are already very socially awkward because of social media, which is supposed to make you more social, but it does the opposite. And then COVID happened. That can help explain it, but it is not an excuse to never try and socialize, to never make friends again because of COVID. That is your responsibility to get over it. But I have a mental illness and I have this and I have that. Okay, each person's situation is going to be different, but you can't keep blaming COVID.
Are you a Gen Z that's scared to answer the phone?
Are you a Gen Z?
You're not alone. In fact, it might be a sign that you need to work on your soft skills. The kind of skills that you don't exactly train for, but are expected to have in a professional setting. The ability to interact with others, be a good team player, or show up on time.
When we ask employers what are the skills that entry-level hires need the most, it's those human skills, those social and emotional skills.
COVID kind of stunted your people skills almost because like you were talking almost exclusively online. Like Google Meets, like everyone had their cameras off and stuff like that. And I don't really like turning my camera on, but you know, I do it anyways.
I hated it. I never turned my camera on. I hated that. Thankfully, our professors the first year did not make us turn on the camera. And I would just be in bed. And it was great. Honestly, I'm sorry, but I loved that. That was great. But that's the thing. Then you get comfortable with that lifestyle. You know what I mean? You have pajamas on the bottom, but then on top you have something more professional when you do have to turn on the camera. But then you never actually get ready. I didn't have a problem with getting my assignments done or productivity, but it started to feel like one long day Like every week was just one long day, and then every month it all felt the same. Because when you can't leave, you can't do anything, you're at home 24/7, not ideal. It messes you up. But the pull to just kind of stay in your comfort zone, it's strong. I think it definitely got a lot of us used to it. But then again, not an excuse. It is your responsibility to then go out and socialize properly. Even if it's hard, even if sometimes you don't want to do it.
Going into the office and trying to like talk on the phone, and I'm like stuttering through it and like not knowing what to say and embarrassing myself.
I think the best thing for this is exposure therapy. When you're not given a choice and you just have to call people, there's not that same anxiety that you feel when you haven't talked to someone for a while on the phone. So I do think exposure therapy here is the solution. Just call. Don't make that doctor's appointment online. Call the office. I believe in you.
Studies show that the younger generation, so Gen Zs, are lower at problem solving, lower at independence, and lower at stress tolerance than any generation before them. We also have helicopter parents. I need to ask my boss the answers. I need to rely on my parents. I need to trust Google. I can't rely on my own judgment.
I'm honestly convinced that people are going to college just for the experience because there's no way that they're making any money off of their majors. What the hell are you gonna do with a communications degree, fam? Yeah, man, I know how to say hello and shit. Working at Burger King, making $25,000 a year. They have 3 STDs and they have $30,000 of student loan debt because they majored in art. Like, yeah, man, go paint ketchup packets all over the burger buns, man. Roman literature? That's how you become a janitor at a middle school, bro.
And listen, we need janitors. If you want to be a janitor, great. But the thing is, though, you have to keep in mind, what are you going to do after college? Is the degree worth it? What are you majoring in? Because he's right. You have to make sure your degree will actually help. Because some people, they waste a lot of money, a lot of time, and then they don't end up using their degree. Personally, I believe I'm not meant to work. No job is my dream job. Why would I dream of labor? I dream of looking pretty, living a soft and feminine life. And then in the comments, raising kids is work enough for sure. No, dear, I'm a business owner. So, girl, you do work. And if anyone tells you this isn't valid, they are just a jealous hater. I think what a lot of people mean when they say I don't dream of labor is that they're talking about wanting passive income, but they don't really want to do anything to make that happen. I mean, yeah, most of us would rather be sipping champagne on a private jet than working a 9-to-5, but the reality is that you need money to do that. So you need to do something for it unless someone's paying for you. Either way, someone is making the money. Because what do you mean you're a business owner, but you're not working? It's like you're selling this lifestyle. Even the influencers that set up their camera and start making their sourdough bread. You know that they film that and then they edit that and then they post that on however many accounts that they have. And then they have to look at their analytics and then they have to plan the next video. I know it doesn't seem like a lot and it's definitely not at the same level of like doctor, lawyer, but when you're editing, uploading, reading ads, negotiating, that's still labor. It looks better. You may make it look prettier, but you're still working. But I do think it's an issue if you don't want to do anything. But let's say you don't want to be a mom, you don't want to be a business owner, you don't want to work, because you know, some people choose one or the other, some people do both. But if you don't want to do anything, you just want money. I do think that's unrealistic. Point is, you're running a business or you're monetizing on this soft life to survive. That is working. Go you. But don't pretend you're not doing anything. I think some good practices to take from this idea of having the soft life, intentional rest, creating a peaceful environment so you can pour your energy into your passions and into your work. Hopefully those things are related, but not cosplaying cottage core, I'm above any labor and somehow I have this lifestyle.
I want a job. I don't want to be a corporate girly. I don't want to climb the ladder. I don't want to be a boss babe. I don't want to do any of that. I don't want to be the breadwinner. I do not want to do that. You know what I want to do? I want to be home. I want to be cooking in the kitchen. I want to be cleaning. I want to be shopping. I want to be making brownies. I want to be cooking dinner, making homemade meals every night, almost every night.
A lot of women are told this lie that this is weakness, that you have to be a girl boss. You do not. All right? Feminism is about having the choice. If you want to work a more traditional job or do something online, that's great. That's your choice, or you can be more of like a stay-at-home mom. Choosing that lifestyle does not make you weak. It does not make you anti-feminist necessarily, but you don't have to do that. The only issue, again, is that some people want that lifestyle without doing anything to earn it. No skills, no plan. It came to me out of thin air. No. Someone is paying for those ingredients you're using to make the bread. I don't know why I keep bringing up bread. I guess whenever I think of like stay-at-home mom, I think of sourdough bread. People used to ask me, what's your dream job? I never knew the answer. I realize it's because I don't dream of labor. I dream of living a soft, feminine life and being a hot housewife. It's as simple as that. Okay, great. Me too. And everyone around me makes me feel bad for it. Yeah, that's the problem. This is not for everyone. If you're a woman and you see this and you're more about that hustle culture, this may not be for you. And that's okay. It's for her. She likes it. I don't know why some people get so offended. The soft life at its core is about women prioritizing peace of mind, mental wellness, and living a life of leisure so they can pour into their purpose and passions more freely. Lazy girls saw aesthetic and changed what it meant as an attempt to avoid adulthood and womanhood, aka adulting. Leisure, lazy, and rest are different things. 100% agree.
If your goal was to eat, you cannot complain about having a lot on your plate. A lot of women claimed that they wanted the soft life. You want to be a soft girly. I get it. But most of you do not want to do what it takes to get to that point. When the girls in tech, law, finance, and healthcare got on here and showed you guys what living a soft life looked like, you were so in love. That's exactly the life that you wanted. But I can bet majority of you are not willing to put in the work that it takes to get to that point. Law school, med school, nursing school, grad school, these are not easy tasks. But you go through that hard time so that on the other side, you can have a much easier life.
For some women, they marry a man who then works so that the woman can have the soft life and doesn't have to go through law school or, med school. But some women want to do that. Either way, you have to plan around what kind of life you want and how you can achieve that. When you see these creators posting about what kind of life they have, it's not always what's really going on.
Because I'm pretty sure a lot of you don't actually want a soft life. You want to be treated like a baby. Good luck with that.
Absolutely, law school with 4 kids was hard. 2 being newborns. Wow. I worked my assets off and graduated early. People tell me I'm lucky. Luck, where exactly? That's hard work. Some people, of course, have it easier because they were able to get some financial support from their spouse or, their family, whatever. But that does not negate the fact that they worked for it, right? Certain people that romanticize this kind of lifestyle, and it's the trauma responses. I had to make a phone call that was traumatizing. Then they look online and they see that, oh, I make dark humor jokes. It's my trauma because my parents yelled at me once. Like, not everything is trauma. Not everything is a trauma response. So you're telling me my entire personality is a trauma response? You must be a fun person to be around then. Hyper-independence as a trauma response, an overlooked trauma response.
Please stop classifying every negative experience or every unpleasant experience as trauma. Look, as a licensed therapist, I'll be the first to tell you that sometimes it is and sometimes it ain't. Nevertheless, please stop overusing and misusing words. Y'all got that bad, and us therapists, we tired of it. We tired.
Her words, not mine. Actual therapists are calling you out if this is you.
Have you noticed that everybody is using the word trauma these days? Like everything that was stressful in their life has been considered a trauma to them. It's traumatized them. It's their excuse for being a victim. Trauma in and of itself is meant to describe something clinically exaggerated, something severe and acute that happened to, in an interpersonal sense, change your reality and your understanding of the world. It has a psychological consequence. There are going to be a lot of things that we need to reframe as just stress, something that's not great that happened, but it doesn't mean that you are injured because of it. Thinking about things that way is going to put you in a learned helplessness state.
And I think with work too, some people are like, I have to put me first. I'm healing. No, you're procrastinating. Yes, it's important to have balance, but some people don't want to do anything. And they call it self-care. No, sometimes you're just being lazy. Of course, it depends on the person, but there are a lot of people, especially in Gen Z, like this.
I sympathize with people. It is not your fault what happened to you. But as a grown adult, it is 100% your responsibility to heal from your trauma and to actively try to not be a piece of shit, because then you are no better than the people that hurt you in the first place.
A boring life. And for some, that's not boring. Doesn't matter where, I just hate working.
Soft life and stay-at-home girlfriends do not live the lives that they are selling to you. I work in social media management and content creation, separate from my own page that you actually see. And as somebody who does that for people who work in social media full time, it's not easy. And for every girl you see on here posting vlogs of her life every single day, working with brands, working with partnerships, that is a job. And here's another secret that they might not share with you. A lot of these girls have these social media jobs, especially the more working class stay-at-home moms, because they need the extra income. Have you ever thought about the fact that their social media presence is what sustains them, is what allows them to maintain this lifestyle? Because they work with brands, they get gifted PR, they get deals. If not that, then they're making money from views and plays. And editing several videos a day or posting a video every day is a lot of work, and it is practically a full-time job, at the very least a part-time job. So if this is something that you're considering or something that you want to do, perhaps consider the other factors that go into it. It is a job, and they're pretending as if they get to stay at home and do nothing.
That's the issue, because you're still hustling. So you're not really escaping anything. You're just doing it at home. But most creators, right, they're meeting up with other creators. They're doing collaborations, or they're talking to these brands, and you're still working. So when they lie and they say, I wake up and I make tea and then I go plant a flower and then I go to bed, that's not realistic. Okay. Is that someone's life? Yeah. Is that a good life for them? Maybe they love that. But again, you'd have to financially support yourself somehow, whether it's from your man or woman or your own ambition. Someone worked. Intentional rest is important. But rest from what? Soft life can be great if that's what you want, but do not confuse it with laziness. And that's it for today's video, guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Also remember to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.